Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. I decided to jump on a little early. I thought I was going to run a little bit later with my TV show. Every Tuesday night, I do a TV show on Apple called Rewired, and it's about different holistic and healing topics, how to heal the effects of trauma. I always have different guests on, and we got done early. So I figured I'd jump on tonight to give you guys a reading. I hope everyone's doing well. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message, obviously, for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed, flip it, switch it, twist it. Just interpret the message as it best resonates. Always know that the energy goes to the person that always needs to hear the reading. That's how the message works. Hey, Kim. Thank you. Yeah, well, I have different holistic and spiritual people on too that talk about all these different types of healing modalities because we're in a place within our evolution where there's an actual spiritual war happening. And that spiritual war is a war on consciousness. And it's when the environment is showing you a narrative of something and understand it's most of us grow up in I shouldn't say most, a lot of us grow up in environments where even our immediate family gaslights. So the thing is, when you live in a certain environment that teaches you that you're not safe, or you perceive that you're not safe, and safe could even be I'm not safe to be emotionally transparent in this environment. We create behaviorisms and habits that block us from receiving unconditional love, from actually seeing the results that we want, whether it's within our relationships or within abundance, because there's really only two energies, love and fear. So everyone that's born is made of this unconditional love, this energy. It's collectively we're born into, families, ancestral, and everything is what we adapt to. So part of healing is integrating the spiritual lesson. So the readings, it's not that I don't look at everything I do, because it's important to look and see what this person thinks and why they think it, but it's to understand, why are you attracting this person into your life, especially if it's a person that's hurting you, that's keeping you stuck in a place of, perceiving that you can't have love, or that you're difficult to love because someone has a lot of spiritual blocks. We've come to a place in our evolution, instead of evolving, a lot of us have decided to settle. And I'm not saying that you guys settled, but a lot of people have settled because they're like, well, I'd just rather not be alone. Where you don't have to. It's like when you fully heal, you're able to transcend the limitations of your mind. And that means the traumas of the past that you're holding on to unconsciously. Hey, Diane. So, I like to look at the spiritual blocks of shadow, see how they play those karmic themes to help you to understand the whys, and what is the whole point of the spiritual significance of the connection, especially if you want to change the dynamic of the connection. There's many different realities that play out at one time. Karma means learn. So it depends on how you deal with the situation. We tend to be like, oh, that person's going to bring in so much pain and suffering. Not if are coming from a higher vibration where you love yourself and you don't abandon yourself. They can't. We tend to, settle for less unconsciously, or believe that we're not deserving of, or just hold on to these habits and behaviorism. So to fully cleanse yourself of that energy, you need to have the awareness. And then there's the integration process, which is doing something different, thinking about it and doing something different. And then the actual transmutation is doing something with that energy, because just because the experience is done, If you lived in an environment with someone that made you angry for 5 years, 10 years, whatever, that energy is not gone. You've held on to it. You've conditioned yourself unconsciously. So it's about reconditioning you back to a place of unconditional love. All right. So, want to enter into any free reading with me? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Need to be open to getting a shadow reading. Need to be open to getting it live. Now, you don't have to ask your questions online. You can ask me questions the day before. I don't need questions though. Usually I'm able to tap in to you and I channel most of your reading for the winners. It's like, because a lot is talking about the spiritual blocks, obviously, that are individual to them and what they need to do. So I'll pull some cards to back up the channel, but it's a different style. Again, so if you're interested in something like that, again, follow the rules. They're all in the description box, along with all other important information. Life coaching is opening. My life coaching includes inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma, as well as help you open up your psychic gifts and help you on your soul's path, help you discover your soul's path. So a lot of people don't know why they're here. All right, let's see what the word of the video is. The word of the video is permissive. Permissive. I feel like that somebody's around. I feel like someone's around somebody that's very negative. And so sometimes the person that you're connected to can be negative. But I feel like they're around like a mother or a mother figure that's very negative. Could be like an ex that's just very negative. But the problem is that when you are around somebody that's so negative and you don't have good confidence, so you're not strong within yourself, you begin to think like that person. You begin to, so and I believe that the person that is being that way is deliberately being permissive because they know what to do to keep this person in a place of disempowerment. So it could be, I'm feeling like, again, it's like a mother figure, a mother, family member, somebody that is, again, keeping them. But that would be a problem because, like love is the opposite of permissive, you know? And permissive, yeah, it's like, yeah, like it's not important. I can take it or leave it, but like not like, but it's more of, I would say, like a passive aggressive way of being negative. If I'm being like not giving something attention and saying, it's not really that important, it's it's creating the environment. And if you're around someone that is doing that all the time and you're not somebody that's confident, there's an issue. And so when you dealt with this person, I feel like has a lot of anxiety, but being around that person could actually give you anxiety because you can feel their energy. Now, for some of you guys, I also feel like there is an ESP connection through the heart and mind. When you're really tapped into a person, you can feel what they feel. It's like, again, you found them in a past life. What, you're not going to feel them because they're like in a different room or they're in a different. So it's the anxiety of like I said, when a person has like anxiety, there's a sense of this frozen, right? So, like I said, this person is very easily manipulated through anxiety, but in hopes also that maybe you have a little anxiety because, hey, listen, this person is not confident. So it doesn't mean that they're sitting back and they're also being permissive, meaning, well, I'm not, it doesn't bother me. I can sit here too and waste your time, but I'm not going to give you anything. I'm going to, again, make you feel like you're not important. So I feel like there's a little bit of that going on amongst two people. And then there's someone, which is, I feel like you, Scorpio, which is sitting there like, what's going on? That, like, meaning like that person was attached Maybe you still feel that they're attached, but you don't really feel that they're doing anything. So again, permissive is also that, where they're also making you feel that way, like, oh, they're not really that important. But I believe that's only because this person is wearing a mask, a facade. They're not going to expose the fact that they look weak, is what Spirit's saying. But understand, anxiety is stuck in frozen. And what did I tell you? Attachment. Like, this person has attachments, and they're the type of person that if you're going to get into a relationship with them, it's almost like you're on a rescue mission, like for them, because there's a sense that they're not confident to make their own decisions. So the thing is, if you commit too soon with this person, they're because they're so insecure, you think, oh well, then that's great, they're going to be so nice. They're not going to be nice, because attachment means they're not going to respect you. It's a need. It's not a desire. It's a need, because there's something wrong with me. So again, where this person tends to rush in right away to relationships and lose themselves. So I think the person that's actually in their environment does have their like, they think that they have their best interest at hand, but it doesn't, because if you never let the person figure it out, they're never going to trust themselves. And as long as they don't trust themselves, they're never going to be in a relationship. And they're never going to be in a relationship without this person being like in the middle of their relationship. So again, they think, well, if I act permissive, I it's going to piss you off. Eventually you'll leave, because I'm not giving you anything. I'm going to act like it's not important, because you're acting like my situation's not important. So I can play this game too, but this person isn't going anywhere, is what I feel like, is the attachment, because there's a need. And that need is, I need for you to depend on me. I need for you to for that. That's what this person feels. And understand, person needs attachment when they feel empty, when they're fragmented. And so you would be able to see that within a person's life through, what kind of job do they have? Do they have a job? Or do they make money? Is it consistently? Um, do they have friends? Aside from that one person, you can see the, like, the person will lose themselves in you. So it's almost like, I feel like you're connected to someone that has connected, like, that is connected to somebody else, but not by choice. They don't want to be connected to that person, but they're insecure, and they manipulate the environment. And because your person's insecure, and that's again from being around a person that berates them. Savior, what did I say? They don't want to be there. They're the savior. So again, they can't be in two places at one time. I mean, right now. And that's really what that, I believe, that karmic wants. They're like, I don't want you to move on. You're not going to get rid of me. You're not going to replace me. Thinking for a long time, your person was unaware of what they were doing. Because I feel like they didn't 100% trust that person, but I don't think that they thought, that they would do anything to hurt them either. And so over time, what happens is that we all, when we are finding ourselves, and we become ourselves, we slowly become ourselves. And so we find our own way. We get confidence in the fact that we're confident in our own unique unfoldment process of what works for us. We're drawn to it intuitively. But to have this person right there, and making this person feel like they're unaware, that they're not smart, that they're not, it's a problem. Because like I said, it's keeping this person in such a low vibration but they're being passive aggressive about wanting to get out. Like, almost like they want this person to leave. They want this person to do the work, to do it. And I feel like that person won't do it because where are they going to go? They're like, this is my life. And that's the problem with attachments. So that's another reason why your person feels like responsible. They're like, I feel responsible for a long time. I allowed it. And so now it's like there's a sense that they feel obligated, that that person has made them perceive I'm obligated. Like, what kind of life would I have? And this person knows that. And so let's see how they treated you. Now, lately, we've been getting like a lot of karmic themes like this, where someone's been trying to get away from a karmic, trying or just getting away from a karmic. But here, what we see is like this person not really trying that hard, but being passive aggressive, trying to make this person do the dirty work. And why? Lonely. Well, obviously, like I said, you can't be in two places at one time. So you're like, I'm in a connection with someone that is never really around. Like, and it's like I feel like you say this person has a hard time of letting go of the past, okay? And it is like playing out in chaos in the connection. However, you are someone that has had a hard time of letting go of the past, and it's manifesting as a type of chaos in this connection right now. And it's because, again, there's a sense of feeling guilty, feeling shamed, again, but no one can really make you feel that way, unless you have that wound. So I think that this person, has had very old wounds for a long time and has been with the person not because they really want to, but partially it was easier, and others it was probably pushed on them, a little obligated, because this person doesn't really have a mind of their own as strong as it should be. Some of that strong says, I'm going to do what's best for me. I love you. I care about you. I don't want to see anything harm, but it's my life. I'm deserving of having a good life. And they certainly wouldn't say, and the person that I have a connection to, I'm going to make them sit over there on the sidelines until, you're going to, while I sit there and try and, leave, like be passive aggressive, like about, do like leaving is a say that it's not working out. No, they don't want to do that because they don't want to be the bad guy, because they've been playing the savior the entire time. But that's because this person has also had chaos play out in their relationships, because look who they're connected to. They have his history of attachments. And so they have a hard time of letting go of the past. So it's like, what am I going to let go of this person 100%? You might be just as crazy, because this person like doesn't have an identity except for the identity like that they're with that person. Otherwise, they're lost. And that's the problem. But understand, it keeps your person lost because they don't want to live like that. They're connected to somebody else that they don't want to be with, but they don't have the confidence because they're taking on that person's pain. Many empaths do that. And especially if you're a wounded healer and you haven't healed and someone's keeping you stuck in this energy of, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Like you deserve. Look at everything that I've given up for you. Look at everything that I do for you. And you're going to leave me? It's like I built you a home. I maybe giving you kids. I might have, again, many different scenarios. I helped you build that business. I was there when your mother died. I was there when your sister died. I was there, meaning like you owe this to me. And your person is insecure. And they're like, because of past relationships, and they're like, well, I you were there for all that. I am obligated. So you see, when a person is wounded, they allow that. And so that's what you're like, well, I've had a hard time of letting go of the past, and I wind up with people that are emotionally unavailable. Ta-da! And they're like, yeah, and I've had a hard time of letting go of the past, and I wind up with people that are really leechy, that are too much emotional. I need attachment. And so what we see here is a paradox of energy, opposites. So we will see a runner and a chaser a little bit of avoidance, because I don't know how to handle this. So I'm not going to handle it at all. I'm going to put my head in the sand. Maybe it'll go away. You still there? Ugh, I don't like your meatloaf. It tastes like a shoe. Oh, that's a new dress. Doesn't look good. I mean, like doing real passive aggressive things, but you're not being straightforward. So you're making this person feel bad because this person obviously doesn't want to feel that way, but in a passive aggressive way, that's what they're trying to do. And it shows you that that's who they would be with you as well. And that's why you're like, well, why are they in my life? Well, it's again, the ostrich's head is in the sand at the moment. It might take its head out to look around eventually. This person needs a lot of like if they need their inner child healing, and if they have children, I feel like this person hides behind that as a way of not really, making excuses. That they don't really spend that much time with their children, but it's an avoidance tactic of like, I don't really know what to do. It's like I'm in this connection with this person that's never gonna let go. I don't know how to get out. And what am I gonna? I'm gonna tell you my situation. You're gonna tell me the obvious. Leave. Like leave. What's your problem? And then this person is like acting like they're 15 years old and they have to go home and face mommy and daddy after drinking all night long, and they got kicked out of the prom, you see, and now got to go home to mommy and daddy, and there's consequences. That's what this person's acting like, instead of acting like, well, this is what it is. And it's, again, so the trauma happened in their inner child. And this person is like, yeah, I know you don't want to be with me, but like, I'm not going anywhere. What do you do with that? This person's like, what are you going to do with that? They just sit around, they mope, in hopes that, that this person doesn't care. You'll get over it. When you're having a heart attack, you'll get over it. Like, it's like you're not happy that you're like, don't worry, you'll learn to like it. Like, which is crazy. And you're like X Factor. You felt like there was still an emotional connection between the ex and that person that was triggering you. Well, there is an emotional connection, but not the type that you think. It's more like this person is afraid. They're afraid to leave. And they're afraid because it's like, I don't want to feel like guilty. This person, like, it might ruin their life. What kind of life are they going to have? They're already blaming me. It's like, I don't want the consequences of what they're going to do, because again, when they don't get their way and they're crazy like this, you already know that crazy is going to show up, and that's going to be someone that's very moody, very bipolar, someone that's very all over the place because they had no balance to begin with. Balance comes through your own unique individuality, who you perceive that you are. Again, and then when you're in the energy of doing what you love, that's where your focus is. That's where our balance is, our emotion balance. This person's life is like, no, you're my life, and so obviously that means that a lot is deterrent on your person, and your person knows that. Now, they allowed that to go down. So they have attachment issues too. They just happen to be avoidant once they get it. So they make the relationship that way. And then they're like, well, this isn't really exactly, I don't really want it all the time. It's like coming in insecure, coming in hot, coming in from that perspective. It's like something that you've like, it's like your favorite food that you haven't eaten, and that like, and you're coming in, you're like, I'll take 2 of those to go, and then you get home and you eat half of it, and you're like, I don't remember it being this filling. It's like, and you have over the amount because you were starving emotionally, because you don't love yourself. That's this person. And so they make the person that way. So again, they went along with it. Now you don't like it. Now how the fuck am I going to get rid of it? Because I made this person like that way, and they're right. What they're telling me is right from a logical perspective. But from a spiritual perspective, what we see here is a karmic contract. That so it can feel right, especially if the person is guilted, because it's very confusing to say, is it guilt love? Well, why would I care? I should do the right thing. It's again a little bit of mind manipulation. So it's not like, again, so that's why you felt like this person you're still connected to somebody. Yeah, well, technically, yes, but it's mainly because they're like, I don't really know how to get out of my situation. So again, and so what you're like, well, I told you that you weren't allowed to come anywhere near me as long if you were going to be with somebody else. I wasn't going to like be doing one of those type of relationships. And what you did was you crossed the boundary. You disrespected me because you're weak and not doing right by yourself. You think that I have to settle for less? So you're going to disrespect me? So understand now this person's afraid because they're already weak. And what you said was like, not today, Alice or Bob, not happening. And this person is used of Mary Jane or Bob that side saying, should I get you your slippers and your pipe? Or you stayed out all night drunk and it's okay. You had such a rough time. I'll take care of that for you. That's okay. The sun and the moon rise out of your ass. That's how they were treated. So, and here you are, and you're like, the hell is this? What is this nonsense? So understand, and this person's insecure. So we can see the dynamic already that this person's like, well, I like this one, but, I'm a little afraid of this one. And I might not be good enough for this one. This one is crazy and I don't have a life. And, but it's easy. Expectations. So everybody had expectations, and you're like, I felt disappointed, because obviously I had expectations like you were gonna that like care. Show me that you cared a little bit more instead of like fall prey into this weak. And also the persona that you created was not someone that was weak, because you're a little bit of an asshole to me. Now looking back on it. You're not an asshole to that person though. Oh, you're afraid of that person because you feel bad. But with me, oh, so the expectations. So you're looking at this like person like, well, you didn't treat me right because of that person, and but it shows that you're not strong. So what do you think? Who do you think I am? Well, this person thought that you were somebody else. Like understand this person, in spite of them being insecure of that karmic now, they were not. They're the ones that made that connection into what it is, and now they don't want it that way because it was too much, too soon, and it was nothing else. So it's like bologna sandwich again. Can I get peanut butter and jelly once in a while? Like, and that's what it is. If it's just that person, that person, that person, that person, and they're not contributing in their own way with their own energy of saying, hey, this is what I did. And well, this is what inspires me. And this is what I did. They're just, oh, my life is relying on you, my master, or my darling, whatever, so that the person, of course, doesn't want it after a while. But they made it that way. So like I said, and it was all because of trauma. When you have to say, so where the hell do I fit into this? And Spirit says trauma. You wouldn't be able to connect in this situation because this person can't show up. They're weak. They're avoidant. So your own trauma, the experience that you went through with a parent that was non they couldn't show up for you. They were avoidant. They were avoidant of their own problems, so they couldn't show up for you. So Spirit says, so the imprint. But this person again also trauma, and so what you'll always see is lies, because well, I'm not going to tell you like everything. I have to create the persona because I don't like me, so I know you wouldn't like me. So I'm going to definitely create the persona because you'll like that better. But in that, we're going to have an intimacy issue. You're not really going to ever be able to get that close to me. But I'm really going to have feelings for you. So you'll feel that strong ESP. But now the situation is mainly going to be fragmented, where now this person is going to want you in the bedroom and they're going to have a lot of passion for you. But it's like emotionally, this person can't show up for themselves, and they're avoidant. So any problem that's outside of fantasy land, well, they can't have that because they were already dealing with somebody else that there's nothing but problems. Again, where they're that person's slave, that puppet. They're the savior, but what they really are is a puppet that's afraid to take a choice, make a chance, because hey, where am I going? They're also lost. I'm gonna run and be with you. What if you don't want to be in that type of connection? Yeah, nobody normal wants to be in that connection, so they know that. They know that. I think for a long time that they didn't know that, and that's the thing. It's like they just know that their relationships wind up like that, and they're like, no, and you're like, well, unless that person's outie, I don't want to hear it. You need your inner child healing. Like people, that's really again came up again twice. I know I need to release attachments with karmic people. I'm creating a plan to leave them. So again, that's all that they do though, is sit there and plan up in their head, strategizing, imagining. And I'm sure like imagining all different scenarios on how to like escape. The problem is that they need to ground it. They need to again actually transmute the negative energy. They it's like what's happening is they want to leave. There's a lot of pent up energy that comes out passive aggressively, and so then this other person plays passive aggressive too. Like, oh yeah, well now I'm just gonna tighten the noose. But so again, just really make it's become backfiring on this person because the person that's connected to you wants freedom. That's what they want. They want freedom because someone's like this. Because, hey, well, now it's not as passionate as it was like in the beginning of the connection. And so when people go into these really codependent connections, it's like they're saving each other in the beginning. And then what happens is that, if one person has children, they change a lot. One person births a business or does well in business, they change, but there's no room for change. We have to go with the flow of life. That means through our own individuality. When it's real unconditional love, it just is. It's not forced. It's not, I need to control what you're gonna do and strategize. And I definitely don't need to be passive aggressive to get my needs met. I can feel that I can be transparent. Like there's no emotionally intimacy in that connection. Understand that. That's part of the passive aggressiveness, where this person's like, I'm not. You want me to do whatever, I'll do whatever, but it's like I'll fix it, I'll help you, but I'm not gonna. And I feel like for a long time, this person needed to be with someone that was like a damsel in distress, or like, a danzo in distress. I don't know what you call a masculine energy that's like that, but it's like someone that's very needy, like, come fix me, come help me. And because they felt good about that, again, the persona. I'm important now. They're like, I can't take it. You don't know how to do anything yourself. It's like no. We incarnated together to clear specific patterns from our ancestral bloodline. So you're like, why does this look like a shit show that I'm in? And it's like Spirit saying, because there's heavy duty karma on both sides, and so, you're not going to be able to clear them on your own because you were not taught unconditional love. No, you were taught love was transactional. You were taught that you weren't enough. You were taught that you didn't have enough. You weren't good enough. That you, again, out of alignment, you wouldn't be able to, you say, I don't know what that looks like. You want me to do what? What does that look like? And spirits like, and you'll be like, I do love that person unconditionally. They're an asshole though. The spirit says, like, again, that's you kind of forgiven, but not 100%. Understand, we wouldn't know unless we have the karmic people come into our life. That's why the karmic themes play out. So in order to help you clear those blockages, which is just, that's trained behavior. It's like if your parent was insecure, and had anxiety, now you have anxiety, and it's just because you were trained in that environment. Or you might be someone that's really controlling, like, I don't have any fear because I'm in control of everything. Like, that's out of balance also, where we have to be confident, and where we're open to receiving the intuitive guidance and act from that higher self, not from our ego, not from, because the ego holds all the wounds. So again, when you connect to someone, because I have feelings for them, there's love there. You're seeing there's unconditional love, even though it might look fucked up. There's unconditional love there, and understand that's what you wind up clearing. You wind up clearing where, listen, by sitting there waiting for this person, or not even waiting, just being like, I'm still connected to you, I still have unconditional love for you. This person's like, you can still feel like this person has unconditional love for me, even though I look like a big loser right now, and I feel like a big loser for me. Where you hold space, where you allow that person to, like, figure out their process. They weren't allowed a process. They weren't allowed to be transparent. They weren't allowed to be vulnerable. They weren't allowed to. That's why, again, they're very easily manipulated, because they don't know what they feel. Again, and having someone, again, gaslight and be in your environment to, act a certain way. Well, it's, again, after a while, even though you're gaslighted, it messes with your mind. You don't know what's real and you don't know what's not. And that's what this karmic is doing. And this is what, for a long time, the person was unaware of it. You knew it. You were like, I'm not being connected. You're connected to somebody else. This person's like, no, I'm not. It's like, because I'm not sleeping with that person, I don't have feelings towards that person. There's not none of that. But you're like, I don't give. They're still around in your energy. It's, again, and we have past life connection here. We have past life connection, and memories are surfacing either consciously or subconsciously with this person, because they wouldn't heal on their own. They're weak together. You're going to say, well, what's the problem? They can just leave that person. And it's like, yes, they can, but they're afraid. And it's like I said, it's almost like the trained behavior of how they were brought up, in conjunction with not really wanting to be with this person, and knowing that at one time the relationship was that way and they were happy, but they're not happy, because it's like I said, the person didn't have any other life. And the more that this person pulls away, the more that this person's like, don't go, it's, so, what that's like. You don't even want to look at the person after a while. I'm changing this pattern and moving forward, because that's what it would take for this person to move forward, to be with crazy, to be like be with the person where they're like, oh, I was unaware, but I'm aware now because you're crazy. It's like you don't have an identity, and this person that, like I said, that's connected to them is like bipolar at this point, because they're being triggered of abandonment. So they abandoned themselves a long time ago by, making their identity this person. So the fact that, a person's leaving, it's like, well, it's their reality. Is whenever you challenge a person's reality, you're going to get a violent version of them, because people don't want their reality to be changed or distorted, because then they have to look at themselves differently. And this person's like, I don't want to look at myself like I'm a single person. I don't want to. I liked what it looked like, even if it wasn't great, and it wasn't great, clearly. But they're like, but it looks so good, from the outside, or it looked good on paper, or I was respected because of. And that's, so who am I now? So like, again, your person's like, like, you're fine yourself, do this. This person's like, I don't want to do those things. It's like, no. And so this person's like, with you, they're like, neither one of us is being honest right now. And they're like, why are we both afraid to run away? Where I believe that this person knows why they're afraid. They're like, I know I'm running away from you and the situation. I don't really know why. And I feel like, again, because why are we afraid to express ourselves? This person is, again, doesn't, they showed when they are vulnerable, well, look what happens. They've been with crazy that doesn't allow them to express themselves. They get punished for that, which is the same karmic pattern that they grew up with. So understand, this person like doesn't want to be rejected by you. And you're like, and I don't trust you that you're going to leave that person. You haven't proven to me, is what I feel. So but this person's like, I still feel that connection. So why are we both like making it difficult? Where you're like, well, if you leave that person, and that's what this person doesn't like. They're finally looking at, like, saying, I'm changing pattern and moving forward, meaning codependency. But in that, I have to let go of this toxic connection, and that means also not taking on the responsibility that I'm responsible for this person's happiness and life. It's like, even if we did have a thing at one time, it's like, no, this person's going through like physical and emotional ascension symptoms because they do not want to stay. And I believe that, the shit's hitting the fan because, reality is being changed to this karmic, and it's, making your person awaken to like, what the hell is this person who I thought that they were? I think I'm going to be on the next TV program. Who the hell am I with? Who the hell did I marry? Well, it's who the hell was I with? Because I definitely didn't think that it was this person. Well, they hid who they were. Again, the chameleon, so understand that terror and that fear push this person right into like their physical ascension symptoms. So they need space to like figure things out, look at things from a higher perspective, and release the old energy. And there's karma that's part of that old energy, but it's really like, it's all of it. It's like, how did I get here? How the hell did I get here? It's like, and why am I here? And what do I want? And what isn't working in my life? It's like they're doing an inventory, but understand it's the dynamic that allowed that to happen, is what the universe is saying. The universe is saying, well, they were stuck in a place of insecurity. Look, at they weren't going to do nothing, just sitting there being passive aggressive, like big dope, waiting for this person to like finally get annoyed. This person wasn't getting annoyed. They knew you were getting annoyed. They knew this person was getting annoyed. So that was plenty for them to stick around and do more, because their main objective was to get rid of you. Or if they don't know you, whoever this person was going to live a better life with, or whatever better life was waiting, even if there wasn't a person, they were just like, wherever they're going, I'm going too. So again, your person needed to see the difference between crazy and not crazy. I still have feelings for, regardless of what you say. Like, you're being permissive about my feelings, or like about love in general, but it's like, I still know what I feel. I still have that. And so, like I said, I feel like this person is awakening to like how did I get here? Like I said, wait, I'm the one that contributed to this. I'm the one that did it. So they know. I wanted to send you a message today, but I was afraid to. I don't know if you want to hear from me or if I can say the right thing to you. So again, maybe again, this person has not fully left again and they really need to leave and they know this. So they're like, if I reach out, it's like, you're going to reject me, you're going to shoot me down. So I know I can't even come back until I figure out how to get rid of this person, how this person is going to leave, like where I think that they feel like it's going to hurt a lot less. And it's like, I feel like what winds up happening with this person is it usually doesn't hurt by the time this person leaves because they get so disgusted by giving up all their energy and having the person still not be satisfied. Because when you feel that the person's not really heart isn't in it, you don't really care whether the person is doing what you want. Their heart's not in it. They're there, but they're not there. They're checked out. So eventually, like I said, it's a very passive aggressive way. I'm feeling controlled by people around me and I don't like it. It's pushing me to find my power again. And that's what I've been saying. Literally. That's what this whole reading was about. You're like, well, I feel like you're connected to someone else. You're right, but not, it's not what you're thinking. It's like this person needs to grow a backbone. That's what they need to do. They're figuring it out. And what you see is, like, again, they have to be very uncomfortable. And they had to see the comparison at the same time, the spirit's saying. It needs to make them real uncomfortable, expose crazy. And again, because crazy is out of alignment. They're supposed to be in their true self, in their higher self. They need to love themselves. They don't believe that they're loved. That's why they're, controlling whatever this is. And and the person needs to see this is actually what it looks like. This person walked away from you. That means they're not codependent. They can live without you. They don't need you. Hey, well, maybe again, they need to be with someone that's on a higher vibration. It's like I said, it's making them awaken. Like I said, to, hey, how did I do this? And what do I want? And where am I there? Which this person hasn't done. You are my true love, my heart, and my soul. So again, I feel like this person thinks that you're a twin flame. And also, don't get me wrong, you could be like, well, I haven't talked to this person, but in separation and the fact that you're not right there, like how the karmic is like right there, this person's fantasizing about you. So again, in their mind, they think again that it's love. Words have hurt them in the past. That's why they fear talking. That's why they have a hard time expressing themselves. That's why you're like, well, they don't tell me. And again, that's because I'm awakening. I know more than I'm letting on. I'm just not going to I'm not comfortable with expressing. I see. But I'm not going to tell you also that realize who I've been with for the past however long, because they're crazy. I didn't realize how crazy they are. But, I would also look like a wimp. I would also look like weak or stupid or obviously still have feelings for this person when really I have to sleep with one eye open because this person's crazy. It's like I don't know what they're going to do. They're getting more and more bipolar because again, I'm changing the reality. Even though I'm still here, I don't give anything to this person. I don't do anything for this person. I just sit there and again wait for them to get so annoyed that they'll leave, that they'll do something. As twin flames, we're here to ascend and to help others to do the same. It's like almost like, well, part of this experience is helping me ascend, and you're supposed to actually help me ascend. You're like, well, why the hell are you dragging my ass into this? And Spirit says, again, unconditional love. You don't have a choice in who you love because you're like, well, they're pretty stupid. And Spirit says, yeah, they in that particular area they are. It's again, that's why, again, they're getting the extra help. It's like, that's why, again, you hold the marker. Again, like not acceptable. That's not acceptable for me. It's like where this person's like, well, it's really not really acceptable for me either. It was easier maybe at one point, but it's certainly at this point, it's giving up my freedom, my life. Understand that. I care about you even when I act like I don't. I hide my true feelings because I feel vulnerable. So this person again, it doesn't mean that again that they're the way that they express their feelings is going to be good. They don't know how to talk. They're not going to be emotionally transparent because words have hurt them in the past. And especially again, being with someone that, knows that they don't really want to be with them. So this person has to really watch what they say because this person like just gets triggered very easily. We're going to pull just one more, which is we must remember that we are gods and goddesses and work to embody that energy, which is again more twin flame energy, about embodying the energy of unconditional love, which you wouldn't do that unless you met your twin flame. And because it's, again, I don't really have a choice. And Spirit says, yeah, that's what it looks like. Because you're like, it looked like they did all this shit here. That's what it looked like. And Spirit's like, the fact that you still love them is the fact of unconditional love. Well, I can't help that. And Spirit says, exactly. It cannot be manipulated. It cannot be broken. Doesn't mean that you accept. And what it means is I don't accept. It's like you make that person hold to a standard. And because they're like, I have passion for you, and due to like, wait a minute, to be with somebody that's of a lower energy, it actually looks like what I just left, which was crazy. So I don't want to go back into that because that brings pain. And so it's almost like your like energy is going to seem like older. And this doesn't mean that you're older, it's just more evolved. Like, you got to love yourself, have respect for yourself. You came in and you made that like that. And you went so fast you didn't see who you were connected to. It's like, so now here it is, and I'm not going to settle for less. I'm not going into that circus. That's not my circus. Those are not my monkeys. It's like you got to fix yourself. They wouldn't do the healing unless it was unconditional love. And Spirit says, again, you are my energy. I'm God. I'm the universe. I'm unconditional love. You have to embody that energy. And you wouldn't do it otherwise, especially coming from that energy, that sucker over there, like they're like stuck to, a crazy person that's like you're my life. You know how scary that is. It's like what those showtimes, those lifetime movies are about. Who the hell did I marry, or who the hell did I wind up with? It's like no one agrees to that. Oh, but over time, the person is so insecure, and the more that the person backs away, the more crazy the person becomes, the more controlling they become. So, like you said, enough to push this person into a place of that. So they're making a plan to get away. Now, that doesn't also mean that you need to be with this person. You can be like, well, I don't want to be with this person. It's like Spirit says, doesn't matter. At this point, you have a choice, you have free will. However, the universe says it did its job. It got them away from crazy. So to at least find themselves. If it's not going to be you, I'll bring in another person for that person. If it's not going to be them for you, I will bring in someone else because that's their karma, where there's consequences for staying connected to somebody else. That's the roll of the dice. This person feels like, well, if we really have this connection, you're going to understand. There's a hope where you're like, how come they're so insecure with that person, but with me, they're like, well, maybe you'll understand. And Spirit says, that's a good thing. And it's like, yeah, but I don't like that. And Spirit says, no, because you're triggered. You feel like the person's going to take advantage. But it's not. It's the fact that you weren't allowed to be compassionate. No one treated you with compassion. So you weren't allowed to be vulnerable. So yeah, you have to reparent that person. That's what it is, the twin flame connection. It's like, because you have judgment about forgiveness. Well, I don't know, back in December 2001, 3 things. And then, I got a list over here. And Spirit says, that's not unconditional love. It was like, was that what was done to you? Oh, yes. Yeah, that's what was done to you. That's not me. That's love is transactional. That's not, this is what it looks like. Like it's like a car that has 3 wheels. It's a little broken. Spirit says exactly. It's like, but you love it. You love it so much that all of a sudden it gets in another wheel. It did that for itself. Like if the car could do that for itself. Bad analogy, but you get what I'm saying. It's like you love me so much that it made me be a better person. I want to show up because I can be vulnerable, I can be transparent. And those are what is based on intimacy. There's no intimacy going on over there, is what they were saying. So they were like, technically, I was single. But you're like, no, no. It's like just because it's like I'm not cheating, but I brought the person in the house to stare at, but I didn't do anything. It's like, no, there's no middle ground there. It's like you're not going to wrap around. It's not a halfway. It's all or nothing. So you have to hold to that standard. And this person's weak. They're shaking. They're like nervous. They got to hurt this person. What are they going to? They're focused so much on what this person's going to go through that they're not even thinking about themselves, because they've been in an environment that taught them that love is transactional. So we have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? Card number 1, truth. Look at that. Spirit says you better be a truth speaker with this person. Oh, don't be afraid that you'll hurt their feelings. You will. And you're supposed to trigger them. That's very good, because they got to look at see what's broken within them. So again, be your truth speaker. They're not going to like it at first because they're insecure, but they won't be able to walk away because, again, unconditional love. So Spirit says, I always win. So I'm the universe, I'm God, I'm love, and I'll make you surrender. And so I'll make this person surrender, but you have to, again, be true to you. And maybe that wasn't comfortable for you. Again, maybe you grew up in an environment where, well, I really wasn't able to be that truthful either, because I would get a good smack, or I get yelled at, punished. So Spirit says, well, it's again, what you created to survive is going to block you from thriving. Not today. We have to do something different. Optimism, but you always had the gift of optimism. It's again like I believe that people can get better. I believe that in love. I believe that. So again, Spirit says, so you have more spiritual energy, because this person is like they're like in special ed for spirituality. They don't have any of that going on, because again, they don't like themselves. So you would have to again have that type of energy to bring to the table. This person's like blocked. Protection. You didn't have protection, and that was, again, parents. Again, they just didn't feel safe, and that could be emotionally safe. Like I couldn't really be that transparent. Maybe I always had to be optimistic. I lived in an environment where we always had to show that. So we really couldn't be transparent. We really couldn't be the way that I wanted to be. And then Spirit says security, source, anchor, and love, because they fell out. So what Spirit's saying is that growing up in an environment where there was no support. So Spirit said you had to be your own support. It's again, and you be optimistic and pull on that gift. And during this time, give yourself the security and safety. This person didn't give you the security and safety. However, you have a good connection to source because you didn't feel safe. Again, whenever we see protection and that there's a lack of anchor, like anchor is like support. We see like a father and a child here. So it's again that support. It's like there wasn't support. So that protection, then you always have a better connection to source because, again, you're not getting the love that you need. So part of the reparenting for you during the times of separation are to give yourself the love by living your truth, regardless of what and who doesn't like it. And people are not going to like it because people tend to like to see you how they want to see you. Having to look at you through what you tell people, what you show people, well, again, you change their narrative of what they believe and they tend to get angry. So Spirit says you have to stay close to source during this time. But this relationship is a divine connection to help you clear those spiritual blocks of not feeling loved, not feeling supported, not feeling safe. I mean, we see safety and support and we see protection, and that all of that is to live in fear. No anchor means not grounded. Where Spirit said you needed to put more energy towards yourself. Because again, in during separation, there's a lot of healing that goes on in these connections. Don't kid yourself, Spirit's saying, because both parties need healing, and they have shadows. During times of living in survival, not feeling safe. Then again, not having the security, and that could be emotionally, it could be mentally, it could be like spiritually. It doesn't matter. The spirit doesn't know the difference. The mind doesn't know the difference. So understand, Spirit saying that you needed to incorporate those energies in order for you to get to a place where you would even be strong enough to be in a twin flame connection. Like both parties have to heal. Two different decks, just so you guys know. I always like to pull from this deck to see, like, okay, so what were we supposed to be doing during this time? You know, like in separation, and what are we supposed to be focused on? And this is singly without this person. Stepping stones. Each small step brings you closer to overcoming fears. So again, going through, again, possibly bad relationships where people don't show up. But Spirit says people make mistakes. So if they come back and they want to be vulnerable, which this person is coming back and they are going to be vulnerable, it's the stepping stone is, the first one is compassion, forgiveness. It's relationships or something that happen over time. Like trust is something that just is something that happens through consistency. Otherwise, people don't feel comfortable to be emotionally open. That's really what happened in this person's relationship. Came in fast, 1,000 miles an hour, became everything, and then all of a sudden had different opinions, wants, needs. Now they don't want to do those things, and they're getting screamed at and yelled at and berated that they should. And so again, it influences who they are to a point that Spirit's saying, you were taught wrong. You think that this guilt is love. This is not love. So it's a stepping stone, but it's also a stepping stone for you. The Spirit says, I don't really like how you display compassion. You don't, or how vulnerable you show that you are, or how transparent you are, or how comfortable you feel with expressing yourself either. You're a magnet of who and what. And you're like, well, I do that because of them. And Spirit says, it shouldn't matter. You're not confident in that area. I don't like the way that you handle it. You're down there to be the expression of me. So you're going to keep getting the lesson. So until you deal with this situation differently, now I stuck you with the twin flame. So they're not going to be that easy to get rid of, because they're not going to be that easy to be replaceable, because I'm going to make you do the healing. That's why. They're going to hold you to it. Otherwise, it's karmic. And this person already learned those lessons. That's why they're a twin flame. They're ready to transmute that negative energy now through the passion. But that passion ain't happening until they rise. Spirit saying. So I get my way. It's just a stepping stone. I realize that, but it's happening. I always get my way. This card doesn't even belong in the deck. I fell out, but I'm curious. I'm curious. Healing. Paranoid. Oh, I feel like that's the karmic. And I think it could also be your person, and more time that goes by, paranoid, because you're not talking to them. They're like, I want to reach out, but you might not want to hear from me. Spirit says infinite possibilities. Like, while this person's in the mix and you're not coming from the best version of yourself, you're not going to have the possibilities. When you evolve into the highest state of consciousness by being in unconditional love, by actually connecting to your twin flame, Spirit says there's boundless opportunities that happen because you're releasing fear. And that's what Spirit's saying. So when you're releasing fear, well, then there's only love. And Spirit says, and now you have your twin flame, and so you're on the level of that. This is what it looks like. Doesn't mean that the person's not going to trigger you. They're going to trigger you. What it means is that you kind of find that compromise where you're like, I really don't like the XYZ. However, I realize, and Spirit says, yeah, because love is kind, love is patient, love is all about compromise, learning that no one did that with you guys. And that's why you guys have a hard time having relationships, because you guys were not treated that way. So you have to actually be put in that situation. Otherwise, you would be like, I don't know what that looks like. And Spirit says, yeah, you need to, because there's bigger things than this connection, Spirit says. Much, much, much bigger things. What are those bigger things? Your soul's calling. Meaning, like, you're supposed to be, like, on your path to, like, becoming the expression of unconditional love so you can connect to other people in humanity. It's to give and receive of love through your free will. And that's how you become abundant. You become a magnet for the people that need you, the people that want you, the people that, and Spirit says that's the soul's calling. That you can't, if you're all blocked up, you can't listen to the whispers of your soul guiding you. And Spirit says, and I need you to align your actions with your values. And the values, again, are of the highest state of consciousness, all from unconditional love. So you know what it looks like, so that when you're on your soul's path, you're going to get good results, because you're a clear conduit for Spirit to work through. Spirit is also known as prana, chi. It's oxygen. Well, it's also God. And it's when you're interactive in it, again, like on your soul's path, listening to your soul, again, your higher self, well, that's when you're, again, being led to people, situations, and experiences that allow you to help you evolve, where Spirit's saying, this is what this is, and this person can help you, is, again, to learn balance, and could possibly birth something. There's infinite possibilities, but it's for you to get to a place where you were, like, on your path by yourself first. And then if this person has other gifts to bring, maybe they're good in finance, maybe they're good at organizing, maybe they have other connections, you don't know. Spirit says, but they hold the value. They'll be coming in with energies that you don't have, that you feel like you're broken in. And, and though they look like this in the relationship, you may look like what they look like in other areas where they're good at. And now they have to hold space where they're like, oh God, this person, it doesn't even know how to add. And they look at the books. It's like, I don't know how they run their business. They don't make any money. They're going to be homeless. They look good in the fashion. They've got a whole fashion line, everything. They look like $1 million, but they don't have money for an apartment. They spend all their money on clothes. They're a fashion blogger. They haven't figured out the business aspect. It's a mess. And Spirit says, yeah, well, your relationships look like that. So it's triggering for both, Because it's, again, you don't think that way. They don't think that way. And Spirit says, no, you both learned how to survive differently. But I'm both those energies. God says, I am divine masculine and divine feminine in one entity, and it's a consciousness. And you were blocked in some of your divine feminine, and you were blocked in some of your divine masculine, and the two come together and they transmute that negative energy of, I feel inadequate, I feel shamed, I feel not good enough. And but it would take something like something crazy to push this person into a place of awakening. And that's what's happening now. Like, who the hell am I with? And that's, and then comparing you, and then seeing, I'm entitled to, I don't need to be feel guilty anymore. I don't need to, I can let go now, like, where I think I've spent enough time holding on to you. I love myself now enough, because, hey, I know this person loves me, and that helps me love myself a little bit more. So Spirit's saying they're still in the healing process as you are, but you're both evolving, and eventually this person is going to leave. I mean, they are leaving. Um, they're slow. And no, Spirit says, just know this. You're the light. Always have hope. No matter the ordeal, have faith in a better future. Turn darkness into light. Open your heart to others and to God, and Spirit, become spiritually strong. Draw light to you and shine with all your being. So what Spirit is saying is like, you're me in physical form. So you have all the gifts that I have. You can create whatever life you want. However, you have to have hope, and you have to, again, like, turning darkness into light is, you have to do shadow healing anytime, because then there's always going to be a new opening. All right, a new opening. And it's like as one door closes, another door opens, and it's all for your betterment. Where this person needs to realize that you both are entering into a new phase, and twin flames come in during divine time. So you'll be like, it's when? And Spirit says, it's during divine time. They're still working things out, but they know where they're going, and they're awakening to everything that's happening, which had to happen. Because once you see certain things, you can never unsee them. And that's the thing, where this person will come and they'll tell you that they didn't have this self-love. And I just believe that you're gonna be like, again, the divine. Like, you're gonna see, like, this is a divine connection. You're going to benefit from this connection too. It's because it's designed to help you transmute whatever other spiritual blocks that you have, that might not even be about relationship. Like I said, it could be about finance, or something else, but it's something significant that needs to be cleared, and only through the twin flame connection can be done. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Let me read my comments. You struggle with no contact. Are we being protected on some level during a no contact? If the counterpart, I feel like, listen, if someone that brings pain to you, and you're not, and you're not reaching out to them, you're protecting yourself. I do believe, though, sometimes, like, if you're in a connection with somebody and they're preventing that person from moving forward, and they haven't, fully disconnected from that person, which, listen, I did a reading, I don't know if it was for this channel last night, but that was the theme. It was like this person had left, but they didn't leave the proper way. They left, like, where they didn't fully close the door. That's karmic. And when the karmic kept getting in the way, yeah, you were divinely protected. Spirit used that karmic, because karmic, it just benefited. But if you would have gotten in the way, where you were like, well, I'll save you from the karmic, well, then you would have reaped like the karmic negative consequences. But since you were like in this story, I don't want this. I don't like. I want to be with someone that's with somebody else. I can see it a mile away. Like there was no bones about it. You were like, you came in and you were like, oh, what is this? This. No, I feel like, and I've already had bad relationships, and I don't need for it to play out again in this negative type of relationship. So you were vulnerable. You came into the connection looking to see, are you going to treat me the way that I want to be treated? Possibly because you had already gotten out of a bad relationship. So you, as soon as you went in and you saw it, there was no hesitation. You cut it, which is what made this person be like, whoa, you don't need me. And then now they're again connected to crazy. That's like, I need you. Like, you're my life, where they're like, I don't want this. It's like, I feel smothered because the more that I don't really have that sexual attraction, those feelings for you, because the intimacy has been ruined a long time ago in that connection. And intimacy is based on trust. So there was a lot of lying in order to pretend that they were happy in that connection, to accommodate the karmic as if they needed to be some sort of savior or something. So, yeah, then that karmic's protecting you because they're not coming in correctly. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too by saying, well, this person is here and I'm not in a connection with them, but no one wants a connection like that. And that's pretty much what you said. No one wants that. Like, I don't know who you are and who you think I am, but I'm not that person, is what they were confronted with when they presented that to you, or when you saw that and they were like, oh, you are definitely not like this person. You're someone that's totally different. And Spirit said that's what they needed to see. This is what it looks like. And you don't have any control, that you still have feelings. Is it hard? Is it scary? Yeah, it's scary because you have to leave and you have to again make that decision regardless of whatever consequences, because there's going to be consequences no matter what you do. So it's your choice of focus. Do you want to be happy? It's a choice, where this person was not making a choice. They were being passive aggressive, like hoping that this person would just get annoyed and leave, where that's not what's happening. What's happening is the karmic is just becoming more paranoid, creating more. So it's gonna, when it finally ends, it would end horribly, and that's why I'm saying, with you holding back, eventually this person's like had to think, what is the right way to handle this? There's karmic people, I don't like what's happening in my life. I don't like being controlled, but how? So you see that there's actually a process where they're not just running away or being an ostrich, either being an ostrich or running away, which is the same thing. It's avoidant, where you didn't allow that. So that's healing. Spirit says, no, they have to actually stand in the higher energies, which is be honest, be transparent. Yes, there's going to be consequences, but your freedom should be more important. And we put this twin flame right over here. And when you leave, so that's their incentive. And that's what Spirit says. Doesn't matter if you're with them or not, Spirit says, because they're going to do what they need to do, because they believe that, hey, if they leave, you'll be with them. Spirit says, all I care is they leave that person, because it's again stagnating. But if you guys you get to again go up to the next level and work out more spiritual things. But there's going to be a ton of passion and a ton of other benefits also with the twin flame connection, and that essentially is all about bringing divine fruit to both of you, because of the lack of being taught what unconditional love was, but by both being brought up in an environment that you both were taught that love was conditional. Spirit says your heart was closed, so you're not going to benefit the fruits that come from when you are again your whole self. So Spirit says, as you work to improve and free yourself, you strengthen your foundation. Your intellect is light, your heart is warm, and your soul is strength. and that you nurtured by the divine, and the fruit that you bear reflects your inner light, meaning Spirit saying both of you would not be very abundant otherwise. You need to clear the twin flame connection that helps you do that. Now you might be like, I do okay. Spirit says, you do okay, but you're twice as smart. You could run the whole company. So even though you do good, well, look how much better you could do. And look how many other people you could help. Look what else. Like you're cutting yourself off is what Spirit's saying. Tunnel vision. Like that's okay. It's not. The Spirit says, don't you understand that when you clear yourself, you wind up getting more energy, because all you are is an energy being. But when you have all this stress and mind chatter and problems and blocks, you're tired. You're like, I don't want this shit. And Spirit says, so how could you possibly manifest the abundance that you want? You can't. It's all about the twin flame connection to help you transmute those spiritual blocks, so that what's going on the inside, what's happening on the outside is a reflection of what's going on the inside. And you know, what's within is without, as above as below. And so, yes, that because you did the right thing, you are also protected from the karmic coming towards you, because hey, you what you made clear to this person is, don't come anywhere near me until that's done. Which Spirit says, you lived your truth. Good. So we see struggle. He was too promiscuous, and I would always be afraid he is going to cheat. Even, yeah, I think like once a person like cheats, it's hard like to be. However, I think like a person really needs to go through a dark night of the soul, and usually when a person like their entire foundation, well, when I'm talking about like a phoenix, right? The phoenix lights itself on fire. So like this person would actually kind of have to light themselves on fire, and not per se, not really, but again, where everything what they thought who they are, that ego has to completely die. And that only happens when a person crashes and burns. So it's like their entire life gets ruined, like through a divorce or through, God forbid, they get themselves in trouble. Then again, they're the phoenix that rises from the ashes, they can recreate their life. Now that does take a very strong person to be able to forgive that, especially if you were in a relationship where they did it too many times, because now you're programmed already to be like, well, you're just going to do it. So like that's the problem, even if they did so, like, but you would still say, I still have unconditional love for that person, and still know what unconditional love feels like, and just say, well, I need the person to evolve even higher, to raise the energy of themselves to unconditional love, because you can have unconditional love for a person that doesn't love themselves, and a person that usually is promiscuous. It's an addiction. It's like they're doing it to make themselves feel better. How do they learn the process to leave the karmic? Well, what happens is that they get so uncomfortable, because that karmic is like, like is becoming more and more and more bipolar, because they're not getting what they want. Your person not giving in, they're just being passive aggressive, so they're holding back, and they're, triggering this person, and this person is comparing like what their life could be with you compared to like what it is. And again, this person definitely tends to be someone that would not want this type of connection. So it's like I said, it's that they're so uncomfortable. So it's usually their ego that makes them leave, and it's because time passes. And like I said in this story too, that this person was afraid that you would meet somebody else. And so it's the ego that does, because person's not all of a sudden healed, like, oh, magically healed. No, Spirit says it's a process, and the process is I have unconditional love for you, even though I acted like this. Then, there's the runner and the chaser, and then eventually something happens in that person's life. And it's usually the person racked up so much negative karma by being so promiscuous with not one person, but a lot, and their addictions and other things, that they have a complete tower moment. And then they're like, need to come back. And partially with that, they always look for a good person. Now, the key is not to lose yourself in being the fixer, if that's the case. It's always to make that person chase you. And it's to chase you not by not giving them anything. It's you're cordial and you're nice, but you're not codependent. What they are going to feel a real relationship is codependent. That's what feels normal to them, but doesn't give them good results. Remember, you're the person that says, well, I'm not codependent, and this is how much I'm going to give you because I'm here, and I'm doing this, and my life doesn't just consist of my work and relationship. It's I have other friends, I have other hobbies, I have other interests, meaning you're not the only thing on the menu. It's like I'm not dating a lot of anyone else, but I get my emotional support from many different areas. This way, if I don't like the way you're treating me, I can adjust how I'm treating you. And I'm not going to say a damn word because I have really great perception on how you're treating me. So if you back away from me because you need space, I'm not going to react because emotionally I'm being taken care of. I realize that you're going through your process. See, that karmic never let this person have their process. In most relationships, most people don't allow people to have their process. They're like, where is it going 3 days into the relationship? Or are you going to cheat on me? Or are you like, it's none of that because you're so busy in your life that this person is like kind of chasing you, not because you're saying chase me, but you're just not making it codependent. So it doesn't feel comfortable. So the person is like, I don't know, do they really like me? Do they really? And what they're seeing is the result of your life, of living a balanced life. Because Spirit said, remember, you're giving yourself self-love. You again are a soul on your soul's calling. You're the light, meaning you're co-creating to infinite possibilities, meaning that means new opportunities. You're having a good old time. And what you're saying to this person is, I know how to pour my own cup. And it's always full. Always. You only get whatever pours out. So you always want more. So you're so busy running after me, you're not insecure about anything. You just change because you like the results of my life. And it's because you had a tower moment, so you don't have a life. Your life consisted of entertaining crazy over there. You didn't have an identity. You were the savior. That's not an identity. It's like making someone feel better. It's again, no, you weren't, but I do. And that's because Spirit says, because you're on a spiritual path. You're more spiritual. This person's not. Again, they're very logical, analytical. They could be very good with business. Give them fact, give them fact, give them fact. But that fact is going to look like shit in a relationship because it's going to be cold. It's going to be calculating. It's going to be, especially if they're insecure in the beginning, where that's why this person acted the way that they did in the beginning. But due to their tower moment of just, again, everything closing in, including how the karmic is acting, it's like the noose around the neck, along with, you're in a bad connection. You're not happy every day. And here's a person that you are connected to that's not saying like, I'm not dumbing down. You're not having your cake and eat it too. I'll be over here. Leave that person is what you're saying without saying it. This person knows. They have to make a choice. And they know that time's ticking. And they know that you're not going to put up with it. And I feel like the karmic winds up really being the one that pushes it because they're not happy. They also want something. But at this point, there's no intimacy. There's no anything. So there's a lot of toxic energy. So Spirit says, that's just going to blow. eventually, because it's, again, it has not built on anything. And then they'll already, life isn't good because of how they've been living their life. So trust me, they're going to say, well, I have this connection, there's passion, I still have feelings, and your life looks good, and you don't put up with my shit. It's like, I can't replace you because I tried already and I see it doesn't work. So Spirit says, I always win, Kim. I always win. I make the person surrender. They don't have a choice. And it doesn't mean that it's an easy relationship because, hey, you might be like, I don't want to have to like hold to a ground. Spirit says, no, of course you don't. You have poor boundaries too. It's, again, but, and that's why life is not reflecting in the abundance area because you're not treating yourselves properly. That's why you're getting this type of connection. So both people are like, oh, well, this is a divine connection. So, but there's also problems. So it's almost like, it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't with the twin flame connection. That's just what it is. It's like, I like the person, but I also don't like the person. And it's because of that. And Spirit says, yeah, but you don't have any control. And the passion is good, and the friendship, when it's good, is going to be really good. So it's, again, it's a choice. So what is this? You're on an upward trajectory doing for me. Then I got sick. Well, it's okay that that happens. It's like, you can, we all have setbacks, like life happens. And so it's just, as long as you put in a little bit of effort every day, that's the key. A mustard seed's worth of effort, because the universe will always make it multiply. That's how you have a relationship with source. That's how you get that support. You'll never go back in, you'll never be able to go back in time and watch a dad that wasn't really a dad give it to you. It's like they're not going to change, but Spirit says, but I am also your father. As the mother of the universe will always give you everything that you need. You don't need anything outside of you. The illusion is that you do. So emotionally, when you're not able to fill your own cup, Spirit says that's because you've been giving too much out other places. So again, the moment that you give to yourself, well, then you become very tantalizing because, hey, you're giving yourself love and you begin to shine and you raise your energy, your vibration. Then everybody notices you. So believe me, Kim, that person will move their ass because they know, hey, the universe taking this person away on a completely different place. So, you never have to worry because you're always supported. And even if you get sick, just get back on, even if it's a little bit of effort. All right, I'm going to leave that there, guys. I hope that you actually didn't resonate for a lot of this message. However, it is a twin flame connection. You'll decide what you do. It's collective. I never like to say, but if it's a real twin flame connection, you may be like, I see the red flags, but I'm gonna be with it too, be with them also. It's key is see the red flags and just do things differently, and you'll get a different outcome. Because remember, the person's evolved; they want a good outcome. They just don't know how to get there. That's where you come into play. It's going to be to your standard, which means that you have to listen to your intuition and not give in to this person, which is not going to be that easy because there is passion. There is. The key is balance. Thank you so much, Kim. And thank you, everybody else, for joining tonight. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.